a united Wimberley student body. As a big thank you to everyone, especially the community and everyone that came out. It's been a really big support. And it's really great knowing that there are people that think like us and there are people that want to see change in schools. So before I start my speech, I wanted to just say that Wimberley likes to live in a little bubble. And sometimes it's really great, but other times we need to learn to push those boundaries, and we need to learn to see things that are happening in and around the world and how we can impact them. So I'd like to start my speech by saying 194. There have been 194 school shootings in the 16 years that I've been alive. In 2012, after Sandy Hook, I realized I could be next. I was just 11 years old. Ever since that moment, I'd begun to understand all the little things like, oh, that's why the exterior doors are always locked, and that's why we do lockdown drills multiple times a year. At that young age, I had to wrap my head around the fact that as school children, we are seen as a target. In all of my years at school, I've probably done more lockdown drills than fire drills because we know there's a bigger threat of an active shooter than the risk of a fire. And every time we do that lockdown drill, we're essentially rehearsing for the day of our murders. Every single time I enter a new classroom, I search for places that I would hide if a school shooter were to come. In Miss Garza's class, I would hide under the lab tables, in Mr. Warren's behind the bookcase, and in Miss Schmidt's inside the supply cabinets. Every time I go to the bathroom, I'm terrified that I will not be able to make it back inside my class and will be forced to hide by myself in the bathroom during the shooting of my classmates. Every time some kid jokingly turns off the hallway light during passing period, I nearly have a heart attack because I know there's so many students in the hall that we would make such an easy target. Every day I walk into school in fear that it will be my last day to ever walk up those stairs leading into the cafeteria. But the reality is that I have never been in a mass shooting, and I will never know how it feels until the day that it happens. We, the students, are forced to live our lives in fear. We are the students, we are the victims, but we will be the change this nation desperately needs. But we cannot change the world by just doing what we have been, letting adults make all the decisions. To drastically change the culture of this nation, we need to take action. Thoughts and prayers are good, but they will not and have not stopped the massacres of our peers nationwide. We need to take action. We need to use our voices for the good and not let them be drowned out by the views of the bad. While we may be just teenagers, we are the future of America, and we demand to be taken seriously. Our concerns are valid and they are crucial. This is about our survival. Parents are not the ones getting killed, neither are lawmakers or corporations. It is the students getting killed, and everyone else's opinion is irrelevant until you can feel what we feel every single day. We, the students of America, are one collective student body, and when one of our peers die, a part of each one of us dies as well. Today we have 3 major points to address. The first is about honor. The primary reason for our walkout today is to remember our fellow students who have lost their lives in schools across the country. Even though we did not know the victims personally, we feel their deaths very strongly and need to mourn. I am sure that this walkout today will give students a chance to remember those who have died due to school violence. Second, it's about safety. It's not about a political agenda, being red or blue, or to debate about the reality of school shootings. It's that in the eyes of a school shooter, we're all the same type, human. We want the adults in our lives to know that we are frightened by the violence and threats of violence that occur in schools every day. We think about things like escape routes and barricades just as much as we are about learning. This needs to change. We need to feel safe in our schools. And lastly, this is about action. This walkout is not an attempt to take away the Second Amendment, because in reality, myself, along with many of the students here, believe in the Second Amendment. We simply want to promote a healthy dialogue about school safety at large. There are many factors that go into discussion. We merely hope that the student walkout can promote a healthy dialogue between all involved: the students, parents, teachers, administration, and community leaders. It is our responsibility as students to raise the issue because it matters to us, and it's the adults' responsibility to help ensure our safety. Now, close your eyes and think the words that have just come out of my mouth, and imagine that those very words were spoken by perhaps your daughter, your son, or your grandchild. The adults of America need to value the lives of innocent children over money and politics. We want school to be a safe environment for learning and growth. We come to school to learn, not to die. Enough is enough. Thank you.